Board work session to order. Kyle, what do you got?
All right. So thank you everybody for coming. We're trying to do these roundtables every year just to kind of touch base. We've only got one more meeting before the fair, and us meeting now gives us the opportunity to do a little course correction if we need to between now and August. So really there was just a couple of business items, couple of small items to knock out of the way here before we jump into the roundtable. Just trying to keep you guys up to date on the stuff that we have going on with all of the events. So you can see there is a ton going on between now and the end of August. And so, this was something you guys had asked for, just being in the loop on everything going on. So if you have any questions, same thing with the agenda for the board. I don't really have much change on there. I mean, the OFA convention's the big one to keep on your radar. They have opened the registration for it, but they don't have much as far as what's going to be happening yet, but stay tuned for that. So that's that piece. The other was the parade. I'm trying to get a head count on who all was going to be able to make it to the parade, if we wanted to do that, and if we wanted to put a list of potential guests together. And so if you have any updates on that, I'll take some notes.
I think it'd be great.
Okay.
Be cool to get 4-H kids, invite the 4-H clubs to join us. I know some of them do their own, and that's perfectly fine too, but I think it'd be great.
Okay. Yes, again. Yeah, it's basically what time we got to be there to check in and all that. That's really it. We'll just plan on riding in the people mover. And then we'll hand out candy and cards. The Warrenton parade? Yeah. Okay. I will send you all a note, but so between the other three of you, if you can let me know if you're going to make it or not, but if we at least have Matt and myself and I talked to him after the last meeting. He was going to work on the canopy. I haven't coordinated with him one way or another to drive or not. And we'll have to figure out what we're going to pull it with.
Right. So they're
okay. Okay. Sure.
I'm in Facebook. Yeah, maybe. Sorry.
I know the jumping box. That's like right.
Okay. Okay.
So if anybody wants to pick me and that's all, there you go, but I'm not driving.
I know that I've talked with Jeannie a little. She said they changed some of their rules about the candy. Like, I think they're making it so that people can't just throw the candy from their thing. They want them to go off to the side and try to throw it to keep the kids from. Right, I know. Yeah,
It's not fun.
and they're trying to keep kids from getting hit by the floats, I think. But we want to hand out the flyers. That's the big one, and then the candy. Everybody wants the candy. Okay, that touches that. I'll follow up with each of you, and I'll register, and I'll give you the details. So from there, it's just fair planning. And again, thank you all for coming. I don't really have a strict mind on how that we want to do this. If we want to just kind of start going around the table, and then I can spend the rest of the time chatting it up. I'll do an introduction here. Maybe we do an introduction for everybody. But we've got Mike Goff on the phone, on the call. He's our security rep vendor. So if we can get him knocked out of the way, if he's got to pull off for another meeting at 6, you can do introduction. But Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
Here, my name is Mike with Event Pros Northwest. We'll be handling the public safety for the fair as well as admission services and ticketing. So excited to be back with the Clatsop County Fair. We spent many years working on the fair, and so we're excited to be back this year. We service about 70% of the county fairs in the state of Oregon, so it's definitely a space we're very familiar with working in.
Yeah, I know. I take some of your guys' comments back to him, and he's got a quick answer to it usually because he's been dealing with it, and he can speak about all these things much more clearer than I can. So, do you have questions? I don't know. How about you, Katrina?
Do I have questions for?
No, you
students?
just want to do an introduction.
Yes. And I get community competitions, open class, and we've made a few changes this year, so I guess I'll speak to that a bit.
Yeah.
I think I've been doing it for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Or 100.
I didn't realize it had been that long. Cassandra.
Been meeting quite simply, so I think most of our stuff has been answered. I know we have a few things that have been security issues, but you probably talked to about those.
Then when we get to your spot, if you have any questions want to ask. Yeah, and then Lori's also with Sue. Great. We're doing some introductions. We've got Wes Haltusen in the back. He does the car show on Saturday. And then April Bellingham is 4-H and one of the big volunteers. And then we've got the fair board, Callie, Matt, Brittany, and Sarah. And Kristen as well. Yeah. And then we have another fair board member, Mallory, who's not here yet. She's on her way. Like I said, I don't really have a plan for chugging through this. Does anybody want to volunteer to just dive in? You have anything you want to go first, Mike? And you have anything specific you'd like to know from us or like to go over?
I think kind of where we are at the moment from the security standpoint, it's just working on fine tuning the schedule at the direction, of course, the fair board and you on exactly what you need for positions and the hours within those positions. So I think we sent you a template schedule to use as you kind of work through that. So that's really kind of more the last kind of component for us is getting that scheduling piece so that it can get loaded in by our scheduling department and start getting staff fulfilling the request. From an admission standpoint, I've been working with Kristen, kind of dialing in comps and things like that. I really I don't necessarily have any specific questions, but happy to answer any that anybody does have. Again, I think our biggest component right now is just waiting on that schedule piece.
Okay. Yeah, that's one I need to get to you. We're talking about having them do admissions, so we won't necessarily have to have volunteers man the booths, but if we can get some volunteers to help be greeters and just kind of be a friendly face when folks show up to the fair would be great. But ideally we'll get some really good high quality attendance numbers this year based off of that because they do this stuff, every year. And hopefully we can, collect some more information that'll be useful for us to get some better attendance for our future events. Helping with our concert ticket sales, capturing people's info so that we can let them know about future concerts and things like that.
I noticed one thing you did mention, speaking slightly out of turn, but you mentioned that you were handing out some flyers in the parade or an upcoming parade. It might be an opportunity for us to just look at a promo code opportunity or a QR code that maybe takes them to potentially an option to buy online tickets, whether it's a BOGO or a discounted amount or something on just even fair admission tickets, because while you might give them $1 off the fair admission, we're also capturing their data for future retargeting marketing purposes down the road. So it might be a good, give up a buck, scan the QR code, get a discount on your online ticket in advance. But in the back end of that, of course, you're capturing data that you can use for retargeting their marketing opportunities later.
I'm going to share my screen here. And
Can I ask a couple questions?
yeah,
Yeah, is it open?
yeah.
So we had talked about, Kyle and I, so he had mentioned wristbands for the 4-H kids are gonna have a QR code or some kind of QR code or something on them, scannable code, is that correct?
Yeah, that's the goal. And then we can figure out how many, per day attendance we have versus just, counting them once as a 1 day. It can help us identify how many people are actually on the grounds each day of the week.
And since a lot of. Scan them? Or once they're in, and then it's just if they leave.
I have to apologize. It's difficult to hear the folks in the crowd, but I think the question was stemming around 4-H wristbands and the number of times they can be validated.
It was about where they're going to be if they're going to be able to get scanned in at the campground gate. And so,
Yeah.
they'll have someone here.
We do have a scanner allocated for that location.
We come in at like 6 o'clock, or 5:30, 6 o'clock, and before the fairgrounds are even open, so Addie's gonna be in before she can even get scanned. We don't camp.
Yeah.
So,
Best we can.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you would capture them when they go down to their
They
campground
don't-
campsite later and come back up after lunch or something. You would have captured them on their return trip essentially.
Yeah, it's just getting better numbers is really all it is. It's not gonna be 100%. Yeah, either way.
I do have a couple more. The other question has to do with, the dog, or parents who have to come and get their kids on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon. I know we've had a little pass that just on the top of it, I've written 15-minute pickup. Or drop off in the morning, but they all should be there in the morning before it opens. Is that still how it's gonna work? I'll just write on there for those parents.
Yeah, we'll try to make it as easy as possible for them. That's the goal. But trying to limit the amount of people that are driving around in the fair. We'll have to sort through all that. We haven't gotten down into the details on how we're gonna deal with the access on this entrance in and out, but with the people mover doing this drop off up here now. I don't know if you can see my mouse when I'm doing this or not, Mike, but
Yes, I can.
that's gonna change how this should be much less busy over here than it was last year. That's the goal, is to try to keep less people from driving around when there's 1,000 people wandering around the fairgrounds.
I did it really well last year, and just so that
You're talking about here.
just so that the staff that are at the booth there know that is not open to everyone. Whoever can go in there will have a go.
Yeah. And Mike's pretty familiar with the property because he's been here before. This picture doesn't show it, but this section right here will be 4-H staff parking, and it's like 25 or 30 people or so. Yeah. So what we're gonna have this gated off here. That's our current plan, and we'll get into that a little bit later as I get into my section. So people will be coming right in and going down right into the field. And so only the people up here, there'll be somebody here in this area, doing some greeting or, informational directing for people, letting them know what to do. As long as we can get enough volunteers to actually do that, because that's definitely a volunteer role. Just letting people know parking down in the field, 4-H parking, it'd be more on that volunteer, I think, than what they're gonna do. So that's one of the things that we're still trying to dial in exactly how we want to do it. You see, we're intending to put some activities in this area, but this area is still where the vendors and the VIP parking during the concert, and we will have some area up front here for like overflow handicap parking. So we'll have to figure out how that's all gonna work here between people coming in. I think when we talked, Mike was here for the Fleetwood Mac show we did, and we walked over there and looked. We were trying to decide if right here was the best spot or if right here was the best spot to get people as soon as they come up the hill. But I think a large majority of the admissions is going to be people riding the people mover, and they're going to be getting into the fair right here.
There'll be the orange mesh up around there, right?
Yeah, this will be fencing somehow, and then this will be about 15 handicap spots, and then there'll be a drop off. So the people mover will drop off there. We're working with the school district to bring out their ADA bus. They can move wheelchair folks. And then, of course, if anybody just wants to come in and drop off anybody, like if you want to drop your kids off, you can drop them there without having to drop them off down in the field. So we'll put some information on our website that's kind of like a parking FAQ or something like that. So people will have an idea of what to expect.
You can also set up pre-trigger email that goes out prior to ticket validation. So, you know, like 2 days before their ticket becomes active, we can push out an informational email of any sort that you want that has information like that.
And when we were talking, so this was a rough, like we're plugging stuff in here trying to figure out the land. It's lines and blocks at this point. But when we talked about maybe putting like the ticket box office booth like right here. And then anybody that's going through here is people that's already got their concert ticket or bought admission or has a wristband. They can go straight in, and then the folks that need to buy their tickets would be buying them here so that they're not clogging up the line, and we can just get people into the fair.
So I got a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't really look at your map because I'm flying down the highway. So I was just checking, where is the handicap parking going to be? Is it going to be on the fair side, or is it going to be over on the other side of the road?
It'll be on the fair side.
Okay, good.
But we will have some additional spots in the
Across
gravel
the bridge,
lot.
yeah.
It will be as close as they can be. But
No, that's totally
in the
cool. I
gravel.
was just curious because, like I said, I didn't want to look at your map. I might rear end somebody here. So
Yeah, it's something else that we would like to do is we've got some, and this is kind of just plugged in because we haven't really done a lot of the sitting of where all of the booths and everything are going in detail. But if there's folks that we know are going to be able to come in and not leave until the fair closes, then we'll get them, park them up, you know, by the bleachers, by the horse arena.
there you go. No, that's great. I was just curious.
Got a lot better setup this year for handicap parking.
Good.
Yeah.
I have a question about season passes. So I was playing on your website yesterday. So when I go to the season pass, we get the season pass. And then when I went to the daily pass, it says, oh, you can buy your season pass here, but it's only good for 1 entry per day. And I'm like, but it doesn't say that on the season pass side. And I'm like, 1 entry, like if Sarah was leaving and coming back, she wouldn't be able to get back in with her season. So they will let you back.
Yeah, with a hand stamp, but your pass won't scan twice. So like if you handed your pass off to someone else, they wouldn't be able to use it.
Buy season pass, drop the kids off, come back just to watch the shows, and then do multiple in and out.
It's just keeping people from handing their stuff off to someone else.
Okay. Okay.
Tickets up at the concert, people throw their tickets through the gates, you know.
Yeah.
Line wider.
We're gonna do the best we can, but it's not Fort Knox. If somebody really wants to sneak in, they're gonna get in. Yeah.
Mother that was in the campground last year that has the older boy. What's her name? Brittany. For our on that ADA bus, I would like to provide that she is able, they can go down and get her, and so she doesn't have to figure out a way to manage. And because she was not treated fairly.
Up here.
Okay.
all day there.
Okay, I would like someone to reach out to them. Like, you know.
Is it Brittany or is it Ashley?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I actually have her phone number. I will reach out to her.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, any other security type stuff? I know when I've talked with Mike, we know we got hit pretty hard on handicap parking and the big change, I know we talked about it before the fair, how we need to make a change and this is the year to do it. And then when we did it, we found that, we needed to adjust a little. So while we do want to keep some of the stuff, like not having people drive all over the fair, we want to definitely be more, honoring our community as we're dealing with the fair admission. And so I think Mike's on the same page with that. Like you said, he does 70% of these fairs in the state. He's very familiar with dealing with all of that.
So question on the parking though, so back where the poultry, where we're not gonna have people mover, nothing's gonna be back there except for emergency vehicles and then time comes to the concert.
Yeah. The goal is to have as little as possible parking up in this area. This is kind of that one open area that we can kind of keep as if case something happens and we need some open space.
Yeah, it's just like 15-minute drop off or pick up. Basically, so they're not driving anywhere else.
Yeah, I think so. Trying to keep people from driving on this road as much as possible would be, and this is an old photo. This is with the old barn. It's just one of the few photos that like there wasn't a lot of stuff on the property where it was just kind of a blank canvas for me to work off of.
It's like too, because they all the vendors they bought, you know what I mean? Because you just went in and dropped off and left.
Yeah.
Kyle, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if somebody else is talking. It's hard to hear everybody. Is it possible for you to scroll down on the map image real quick?
Yeah.
So just confirming in the lower left-hand corner, that's the back road, if I recall, that comes up behind the office, where in years past when we were involved with mostly vendors would come in to service their booths and if there was food, tack delivery or something, hay, whatever that needed to come in for servicing animals. Is that still how that road is used? And will those folks have window placards or some kind of a dash placard to indicate that they're allowed to come up that road?
Yes, and so those are the passes that Sandra's referring to. Anybody that she has on her side that's lined up should have a pass ahead of time, but there will be people coming in that won't necessarily have something ahead of time.
Usually the first day, sure.
I don't know how we would want to deal with that, if we would want to give them a note or something. It'd be great to at least have a phone number for anybody that got in there in case they end up getting parked somewhere and we want them to move. But I also don't want to create a big project for us either.
They're gonna be a photographer.
There is, don't you have that?
Who is often? Who is doing? Justin.
We need to make sure.
Yes, so yeah, to kind of hit on those gates, we've got, this is the access, vendor access, basically. This will be the main entrance. This star here will move somewhere. It might be here, or it'll probably be in one of these two spots. We just
Can I make a quick suggestion?
Yeah.
So you were talking about trying to deal with people in the morning, and I know we have to chase people down a lot of times. Hey, it's past 9 o'clock or whatever the time is, you got to get out. It wouldn't be that hard right now just to grab every 4-H kid that has a driver's license, and the ones that don't, get a license plate number on their vehicle that they're going to be using, have a phone number associated with it, and have a list. That way if you see the vehicle, you call the phone number, or you get mom and dad's phone number. But that way you at least have a phone number associated with a license plate. I mean, that's something we could do relatively easy.
Yeah, if we could get a list going for as many as we possibly can, that would be great.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be, not everybody would, might not track everybody down, but I think every 4-H group has a list of their kids. They know which ones are going to be mom and dad driving up the hill. We also know which ones are going to be the kids, they're 16 and they want to bring their own vehicle kind of thing. It'd be super simple to put a list together with a phone number.
Okay.
That's a great idea, Brian.
I like that.
So we got that gate, we've got this main entrance gate, the campground entrance, and then over here is the campground parking. And the goal this year is to worry less about, specific who's supposed to be in the campground, who's not. More about you're not driving past this point if you don't have a parking pass
Yeah.
to get you in there.
Yeah.
And that will kind of be our control point for the campground. Yeah.
So that'll essentially be a vehicle pass checkpoint, and then the camper's entrance up by the horse barns will be where we actually check for fare admission at that point.
Yeah. I do not know exactly how it'll work for people that don't have a pass that show up at that gate.
Do you want us to be able to have a mobile box office there? Just a simple like
I mean,
tablet
it'd be
style?
ideal, but as we get here through the staffing list, then if there's room in the budget to make that work, then
I mean, we could have the person that's there that's serving the purpose of validating tickets coming up the hill could also be capable of selling a ticket through a tablet point of sale.
Okay.
So it wouldn't necessarily be extra person, it would just be hardware, which you guys don't pay for hardware, so.
okay. Sounds great.
Pretty good.
So back to the question of people parking up there, that has been the most problematic thing is it's usually kids or someone. So we can try to get license plates. I don't know if that's gonna work, but we'll try. But in the past, I put signs up that says you're gonna get towed. Is that something that we would do? I mean, should I continue to keep those in my
Yeah.
file so I continue to use?
I think that's great. And as you're saying it, I was thinking if I could put a sign down here too that says unauthorized people will be towed or something like that.
How many, is it usually the 4-H folks making feed deliveries that are the offenders that you're speaking of, or is it others?
They make these deliveries, but we tell them to be out, I think it's by 8:30, quarter to 2, because the fair opens at 10. And if there's a handful that just don't leave.
I could make a suggestion. We faced a similar challenge at Lynn County over the years. I don't know if this particular model would help at all, but one thing that they did is they set it up so every club has a certain number of vehicle passes, and they didn't hand them out to the club to use endlessly. They were at the security checkpoint. When that club member shows up and says, "Hey, I'm with Sandy Am 4-H," we give them the dash placard. They go up, they have 2 of them. They go up, make their delivery. And if another one from Sandy Am comes, great, we have a second pass. But as soon as those 2 are used, the other ones had to already come back and return that pass to us. And so it kind of put the angst on a little bit of peer pressure, because if Bobby and Susie didn't come back down with their passes, Joey and Sue can't get up the hill, and they're not exactly happy. So it's an idea. I don't know if it would work in your environment or not, but just a suggestion.
Come in between like 5:30 and 6 in the morning and drop things off. So if it's during fair time or when you guys are there, I can see that working, but.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
how soon do I would imagine we staff that gate pretty early, Kyle. I'm thinking back in years past.
Well, last year I think there was somebody at that gate basically 24/7. We may have closed it at night, but when I came in the morning, there was someone sitting down there. But granted, I wasn't coming in until 7:30 or so because I was there till 1 a.m.
I think there was.
Yeah, so it might have been that 7 o'clock time.
I mean, it's an easy adjustment on the spreadsheet, what time you want to start.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, I like it. And you can. They don't, in the past, you could call it a meeting. It's no problem. Yeah.
I'm good with, hopefully we don't have problems because I don't want to add something that's going to be labor intensive to us, but trying to get people to not be driving all over and up in here is definitely, I think, in our best interest. So the other part that's kind of access, say vendor parking will be in the back up here. And then really Tuesday through Thursday, the vendors could technically park in this area. But Friday night for the concert, we're gonna want this all blocked off for the for the VIP. I think we have like 50 VIP parking associated for the concert, which isn't this whole area. And then, yeah, the main parking down here, we're gonna look for some volunteers to help kind of keep this in order, keep people from parking in the turnaround area. I think that's the biggest thing down there. Just having somebody keeping this area in order. And being a face so that there's somebody there that can greet people and answer questions. We can, but the people weren't following them last year when we put the flags up either.
Kyle, do we need to look at a staffing element at the entrance to that VIP concert parking area at that roadway?
Here.
I know, yeah, look at the roadway to control access into that. My only two concerns would be, you know, if nobody is regulating that, we can't really control who's parking in it, number one. Number two, depending on where this ticket booth lands on that side of the road, if somebody just walks up that, they may bypass the point of purchase unless that ticket booth is right at the base or the start of the bridge there.
Yeah.
They could essentially just walk up that hill and onto the bridge and they're in the fair without paying.
Yeah, that's one of the things we'll have to sort through. I envision in my mind a volunteer like out here at this entrance. That's kind of like, no, you can't park here unless you're a vendor, but you know, if there's an overflow handicap situation, they can help direct them into there because we definitely want to let anybody that needs accessibility to be able to get as close as they can without having to deal with the hill.
Sure.
If you have handicap, people move around.
It's gonna be a challenge. We'll have to have a.
People will have radios too. There'll be somebody with a radio that could radio. That would be the 88.
And you know, we're hoping that we can recruit some volunteers. We are running out of time, so it's one of the things we've got to get on. And you know, if there's folks that need a lift from here, perhaps we'd have the shuttle bus haul them instead of the people mover coming over this way. That would be my initial goal. I mean, the school district gave us a number, I think, of like, was it $200 a day, which seems too good to be true. I hope it's not a typo. So we had to confirm that still also. I'm not sure.
They provide the driver.
They provide the
do that,
driver.
right.
Yeah. That's what they said. Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, we've got this area that can be overflow parking. I don't know how we deal with that yet at this point. You know, I think that would only be an issue during the concert and we'll see how our ticket sales are going. Last year we hired that traffic control company and I mean, it was nice that they were there right when the concert ended for that half hour, 45 minutes or so, but it didn't seem like they really needed to be there to help people park, at least with what we had last year. So maybe that's the conversation that I just need an hour instead of, you know, the 5 hours that they were here. But our budget is getting very tight. Okay, does anybody have any other questions for Mike? Thanks, Mike. Oh, looks like Tony or Jen has a question.
Hi, Kyle. Sorry, I have not been at meetings recently, and I'm just hoping that you or your board might be able to share an update on what's going on with the donated piece of equipment that came from Seaside School District.
Yeah, we have it. We've had some discussion. I think really at this point, we're kind of in this, well, two things. One is really trying to get through our strategic plan and make sure that we know where we put it is where we ultimately want it to be long-term. The other is we've got some land use stuff we're dealing with. Technically, we can't do anything within 200 feet of this west property line. And so if that happened to be one of the locations we decided to put it, we wouldn't be able to do that. But we're trying to work through that. It sounds like we're going to be able to get that changed, but we have some steps to take in order to do that.
Okay, you had mentioned the strategic plan. Is that something that is fully implemented? Is it in draft form? Where are you guys at on that?
It's budgeted. We need to do a RFP to get like a facilitator to help us get through it.
Okay.
I had hoped we would have been further along with that by now, but we're getting there. It's getting closer and closer.
Okay, baby steps are good as long, I mean, as long as progress is happening, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Good questions. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so I have a couple things I wanted, so it's continuing again with the open class or community competitions. We are changing up our numbering system right now and working with someone for building a database so we can use ShowWorks. So we're gonna use their access to ShowWorks, but it's gonna change up the numbering for the exhibitors that would be showing on our side of the house. So just a heads up for folks on that. You could still use the same tags, but filling them out will be a little bit different and the entry forms will be different. So I hope to get that stuff out soon. Not that it changes your guys' life much, but I don't work at Job Corps anymore, but I'm still in workforce development. And what it means for you guys is that my grant funding that I received, I work with priority populations. Rural community is priority populations. I have access to a database called Engage by Cell that gets to send out mass text messages. I can use QR codes. So I want to put that out there. And if you guys want to learn more about Engage by Cell and how we can partner on that, it would get my checklist of working with priority populations in the rural communities. So think about that a little bit. My crossover is still workforce development. So having that kind of number is good, but ultimately I was hearing you guys talking about some QR codes and some marketing. I don't know what platform is being used for ticket purchasing.
We're using eTix. They're partnered with Mike's business. And so it's they work together.
Right. Okay. So this would be a different option, or I could talk more later about what that could look like even. So my grant goes till 2026 as well. So just this year. So heads up for that part. And then for those that might know, Sheila T, Chris Sagan, and Bonnie Seal, they used to run open class for a really long time. Sheila passed away this weekend. Yeah, so Chris and Bonnie are still around, but it reminds me about the opportunity to honor volunteers, longtime volunteers. And so I'm trying to think of a way I would like to kind of honor all the sisters because they did it for so long instead of waiting for them to die off. So if you guys have ideas about that or something, let me know. I did reach out to Chris. Is this recorded? It is. Yes. Ate some chicken strips earlier too. They had me on close up mom. It's good. But I would love to honor them in some ways. I don't know. I'm not sure what that looks like, but they dedicated a lot and they would be here just ridiculous amount of hours, really, really invested. And so, I'm just, it's a big passing for Sheila. She's a big part of flowers and she's very happy and to work with. So heads up on that. And then we're going to, so with my new job, I get to be here more, which I'm kind of excited, but also nervous about. But that also means that we can maybe do some more live competition. So I'm thinking, if you guys want to think about what we want to prioritize though, but put out like some pie competition or something where people are coming with something live that we can then judge and do in real time on site here. It doesn't have to be too complicated, but we can build from there and see what else that might look like later. But something I haven't had the capacity to do before. The chili cook-off is the one people, I don't know what that really looks like, but I'm looking forward to doing some more live stuff, maybe the Lego setup, some of those kinds of things now on my side of the house since I can be here in person, supporting my rural priority population. So those are some of my major things there I wanted to say about what's going on for us, and then hoping to get updates about what the space is going to look like in there, if you guys already decided vendors or how that's unfolding.
So is Amy the new you? Like, are the job workers gonna come?
Yes,
Are we gonna?
so workforce development, still WEO funding, so Job Corps coming in, they're still gonna do, and I will confirm everything, they'll still do their little workshops and stuff. No, but that sounded kind of rude, but yeah, we'll do workshops, we'll do hands-on things for sure still. And my team's still my team. It's just, I get to be paid to do this now instead of before when I was trying to do my full-time job plus doing this over here. So there'll be some overlap given the fact that, there's some crossover.
I just want to say that we appreciate that they come because it is one of the big feedbacks we get about the fair is how great the Job Corps kids are and all the fun things that they do with the kids, the birdhouses and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So I will double check and make sure we're on board for that, but I'm still on call for Job Corps, and I'm always get, that's my baby, Job Corps is my baby. My name is still Boyvich. Yeah, Cruz still, is that what you mean, Amy Boyvich, right? Yeah, so she's not with Job Corps, but yeah, same crew, same people, I just have a different hat on. Was she? She wasn't with Job Corps, no. There was Erica was, she's a redhead, another, yeah.
Okay, well, anyways.
And we will work with Job Corps to have them bring students out each day.
You had to run around and help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the workshop part was my outreach part when I was the manager of outreach. That was
Yeah.
my. Keep pulling things in, you guys. I'm gonna keep.
So as far as layout in here, it will be similar where, it's split down the middle where, 4-H is on the one side and you are on the other. We will plan on some booths inside, but we will want vendors to predominantly be out here, but we will put some in here.
Are you having the arcade guy come in?
No.
Okay. No, okay.
So we're not bringing that gentleman back this year. Basically it was very expensive. Yes.
Something on that side.
Yeah, and so we're not working with them either. What we're hoping to do, and I've talked with lots of different folks about it, but we don't have a concrete idea yet on what that looks like, is like setting up like a gallery for local artists to be able to set up some work and, buy whomever and sell, put a price on their work and hopefully sell it, and, focusing on agricultural, Clatsop County kind of things that identify with us, not necessarily a beach in Hawaii type of photos, but we talked about that early on when we were doing our poster contest, and it sounded like there was a lot of interest, but we've kind of dropped the ball. We need to circle back on that, and basically we need somebody to take on like the curation of that, because I don't have the time to decide whose photos get in and whose don't and all of that. So that was some of the hope on that side. I'd like to get some of those nonprofit type educational vendors set up in there. Like it'd be great if like the Bee Club in Fort Stevens and that type of
I
stuff.
think we have a bee.
It has been our vendor registration has been slow. It seems like we've had a little bit of an uptick over this last week, and we're trying to search out and find more vendors. And I do feel like it climbed a little over this last weekend. So it really is going to depend a little bit on who actually applies, on what goes in there. The inflatables team, rental company team that we worked with, they have some games like what they're going to be doing here for this event this weekend. That maybe we'll put some of those in there, like the foosball table, ping pong table, reaction time, those types of games.
You want me to do a Lego corner still? How much, we had the free library Lego corner.
Maybe we should sit down and
Yeah.
kind of talk about at least your side of this house, what that looks like, and if Job Corps, right? And so if you have your
Don't put
I
that.
can't remember what the name of your work is called, but your job there, and then if Job Corps wants to set up a booth as well, so that's
Yeah.
two. But the idea would be to have 10 by 10 booths at least up to the edge of the door. And then maybe this area is more games and activities. That's kind of what I have in mind. And then if we can do like a gallery type thing here would be great.
I'm confused about the gallery. If people, how would people buy it? Who are they buying?
Well, they would like have like they'd have like a card, like this is the artist and this is their phone number and like a price or something like they would want. Yeah, something like that. Another one that there's been some inquiries about is like the Recology recycled art type thing. We could potentially get them to set up a little section in there with some recycled art.
So we're looking for, what I'm understanding is we want something visually seen in that area that fits the theme of fair, won't be a lot of management or won't take money necessarily, right?
That's kind of the goal. Stuff that we don't have to staff. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's not going to be controversial. That's some of what I understand was some of the issue with the vendors in the past was if it was the wrong vendor, then it would turn people away from entering the space. And so, I mean, it's unavoidable everywhere altogether, I guess, to a certain point, but we're thinking about all that. We don't have the layout for that room. So. Okay. Yeah, oh, so you'll have that stuff ready within the next few days probably, and we'll be able to start advertising and let people know about entries. And maybe a
Did you
competition.
say- I love how you said that. You said you're gonna have that ready in the next few days.
I said maybe.
No, I like it. That's
Yeah.
confident.
People have been calling and asking.
I know.
Okay. Anything else for open class or community comps?
Any other ideas, any recommendations you want to throw away?
I like the idea of the cook-off contest, but how to make it happen? That's the question.
I want a pie eating contest.
Real quick, they can't, some people are on and they're trying to talk or trying to give their opinions and they're not able to, like they're muted.
Oh, they're texting you? They're talking to me?
How about now?
I know. There's some more chicken strips. She's talking to me.
Was it Tony?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay,
You had my my mouth duct taped.
sorry about that.
It's all
The
right.
county's got us with this webinar because they've had issues with anonymous people from the public getting on and hijacking meetings, so I
No,
have
no,
to.
it's all
control
good.
it.
It's all good.
You didn't-
Okay.
I know you said Saturday, but we have people call us that. So what are your times? So when people call our office and ask, we always have plans.
Right, it's been, so people can drop things off at your office.
So when the people call.
Yeah, it's just not in your Schweiz.
Right.
It's right in the flowers.
Right.
And then usually I think we're 10 AM to 4 or 5 PM is
Okay.
what we do. I wasn't planning to change the hours too much.
I don't know. So people call us all the time, like, oh, I'm like,
At 4-H?
yeah, that's 4-H, and they call us.
Serve the kids, sorry.
But they'll, you always have people booking there because we have ladies who come in on a copy of the book, you know, they didn't know where to go to get it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it'll be Saturday before and then, we'll get further this one.
Okay.
But we should have something on the website.
Okay, yeah, give me the website now.
It's the fairground.
Okay, no, that's the.
Sandra, you want to go?
Oh. Just the things that I had.
Just plugging away. Like I said, you and I have been getting together and doing about once a month, so we've gotten most of the things we've got. I think that the questions we had. And for us, there's not a lot of changes. I haven't been, the horse barn's still the same as they were before.
So if you guys want to check it out after this, we've got all of that stuff torn out of Barn C. So Barn C is wide open. Granted, it still looks like a war zone in there. But we'll get all that stuff moved out and it flattened out. But yeah.
But barn A for the horses will be the same.
Yes, Barn A will be the
Yeah.
Barn A and B will be the same. Barn C is wide open. Good.
She had requested electricity, and I don't know if there's to you yet about it, seeing about getting a speaker working in the barn. I know years back, there used to be a speaker that they could talk and it would go into the barn.
Yeah, they mean from the announcer.
Mass.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know, I guess years back that was done, but I don't know if that's something possible, so.
Add the sound guy out working on speakers and the sound system in there and interconnecting between the two spaces. And we knew that there's some horns out there, but we could not figure out how it gets from here to there to there. Yeah. If you guys know more about that, that would be great clues.
A speaker that would be wireless to go there, because I know in the past we've talked about having speakers out there, and unfortunately the rodents have ate through those, and it's really expensive to try to rewire and do
Yeah.
all that. But if we were to have wireless that connects, like, for instance, like my husband and I each have those big Costco speakers, because I use it for my OSET, he uses it for softball, but you can connect the two where they equal as one.
Yeah.
So we could have one at the crow's nest and one in the barn or something near, I mean. And that's something that if he doesn't have, I mean, we're not using them, I could always donate, you know, let everybody use those, but there should be a way to do that where they're wireless.
We even
Something like
have a
that.
speaker. It's just how to get the microphone speaking to both places, or if it doesn't need to speak at both places, if it's just a separate microphone that talks to that room and another microphone that talks to that room,
It could be depending. on
something like
who-
that.
different- Yeah, so I mean, yeah, two.
Yeah,
Ah,
if she's doing her pages or announcements or whatever. It's good.
Class is up, the next class will be so-and-so. If they're up in the barn, then they at least know that they're supposed to be getting ready for their next.
I would think that would be easy enough just for
Yeah.
a sound guy to set up a.
Yeah,
He said basically, you know, whatever we need for our sound system that he would make it. He'd include it all into the price for the
Believe it. the
general
pieces.
sound. Yeah, he does. Yeah. And that connection from there to there, if the cable's there and if that's all we need it for, maybe we can just put some connections on the ends and you can. But if I know we scratched our heads a little on it that day that Cascade Sound was here. They're the ones who installed and did all the upgrade to this way back when. It was actually the guy that did all of that back then too. So that was cool to have, but he was like, I can't recall. I don't know anything about this particular piece of what was happening. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Tess, you have anything? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so.
He's used to that.
That's really has just been a you and I conversation. I know that like the Fair Board has said they would much rather just have it on their phone than a bracelet. Because they can just scan it like an e-ticket.
just being able to be pick it up on their phone, the service out there.
Yeah.
Be tricky sometimes. That was their only concern.
And so they should only need it the first time they come in and then they get a stamp each day. They should work outside at the admission gates. In this building, I agree that the signal can be a little funky, but outside it should be. But my main thought was, do they even have phones? Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So, I don't know if you were doing a special color or anything for each, but if it was just a neutral color that you could. I think my kids would honestly prefer the wristbands. Because
Yeah.
it's one less thing they have to worry about. They're a high schooler, they're still forgetful and.
Also, a lot of the high schoolers keep those wristbands on for a long.
Yeah. It's a sentimental thing about it.
Oh, yeah.
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 They're like,
How many do you think you would need?
That's a lot. Just so you guys know, I tell them,
That's
that's all, 4-H to have the wristbands, and the main reason for me to do that was, well, not all kids have, especially that, but.
Yeah.
Also that they can look around and see what volunteers are there, they know that's a safe adult to go to. Whereas if there is a wristband on the adults' hands, they won't necessarily know who our leaders are. So I thought that was important. So, okay.
Yeah. They say we're not trying to make it more difficult. I mean, the scanning on the phones, if it works for them, could be easier, but it's just trying to get good counts. That's really we're trying to figure out what is our attendance.
What was it last year?
6,000, 7,000 ish. Yeah. Which, you know, we've had days before where we've had that on just a Friday. So, but how accurate is that number? But we had
Yeah.
volunteers running the admission booths, so it's hard. And we were going off of the security, basically doing clicks.
I have parking out on the bank and walking, and then just walk right up the, one of the roads into the fair. And so,
And this is something that all of the fairgrounds struggle with. And and it's trying to be honest with yourself too about your real admission are. That's one of the conversations that they had at the convention was some of them don't want to know what the real numbers are when they've been saying they have 80,000 or 100,000 people, and turns out they've got 40 or 50,000 people that are coming to, because it helps them with their story for their fairgrounds. And with vendor, yeah, exactly. Okay, and then you guys will be doing the water setups for us. What, that's just on pen setup day and the week after. Okay.
3 to 4 other days would be out to work for 4 hours. Usually that's all I could get them to
Yeah.
want to focus, go down under the line or up and over and twist the nipples and yeah.
That gets them going.
Just walk in and I just report to me.
Okay. Faith or Melissa, do you have anything on the association side? Do you have anything at all in general? No, I'm just giving you an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, please. Awesome, thank you. That was fun.
Wes, what about you over there? You got anything?
Well, I've been trying to contact high school. Because I want to get some kids involved and doing like a senior project to help me along with their stuff, because I want to get them involved with like therapy. And because their senior projects have to be in charity, this is perfect, plus it's still fair. I was unable to get a hold of anyone. I've got several emails, text messages, phone calls in there, and they won't call back. I did get a hold of John Clark at the middle school. And he's going to possibly bring out his, he has a drag strip. It's like for playing with derby cars that they've made. And they're CO2 powered, and I think that would be something kids would like to see.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get, that's my whole goal, is to get some younger people involved.
Yeah. You want to talk to Tess, she's FFA. She's right up your alley, right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, part of the project, and I want to get them involved, help me get that idea, see that, bring some stuff in here. I want to make it more interactive. And that way the adults that bring the cars and stuff can help out the mentor a little bit. So it's been a challenge, but I've been trying.
what about?
Someone.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect opportunity to right up this is their home.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, it sounded like he was talking about one high school, and we have more than one high school in Clatsop County.
They don't all do senior projects. Though.
That's what she just said.
I think what he's really trying to get is some young blood involved in the automotive part of it, and that part of the agricultural in our community, and not necessarily something that's not just animals and farming. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you reached out to Mertz? Mary Jackson, the college, because they have the automotive program there. So.
Did you say Mary Jackson?
Yeah, at the Mertz campus. And
Well, Warren.
They did it one time. I don't think they do anymore. It was, are you thinking of like Randy Dundas and those kids when they were doing it? Yes. Yeah, and passed away.
But. Everything I think of, drop a bomb. I talk to Randy all the time, but Randy is raising his child. He's out.
Are you? Mr. Goen?
Yes.
Okay. I will reach out to Mr. Goen with you.
Okay. I think that was very helpful. Doing full things, so I got some kids involved, planning the thing, we could bring some younger ideas and bring some other kids.
Yeah.
To participate. I want to make it more interactive. So there's a reason why they're coming.
What's your email?
W whole season at Yahoo. I think John's thing that he's got, really gonna have kids want to watch. It's pretty cool. It's already fast.
What's your timeline, and do you have a flyer or something that you can get us? Okay. And we had a couple of people asking. And I just recall them coming in early, and then it was till like noonish or so and done by 3. Okay.
Since we're donating all the money back to their team. I don't know what it went for last.
Yeah.
People want to know what the money's going to.
Yeah.
Especially if we tell them, hey, this is charity.
Right.
So, like, okay.
Yeah. But we still have the money. It's just, we're just sitting on it. At this point, I was intending to just pool it with whatever you do this year and then figure out exactly what you want it to go towards. Yeah.
To create an activity for them.
It's a good idea.
Don't remember. I cannot recall. Okay.
So if people know there's a purpose, and people problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's do it as a senior project. It's very push the support of these kids that are, it would be really awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Working with one or multiple. Like, it's not just having started.
Yeah.
The idea is to draw from the point. So it's quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to find a photo, but I could not find one. Well, I think as far as our guests, unless, I don't know, Tony, did you have anything else that you? Oh, how's that? It like keep. Tony, do you have anything else you want to go over?
No, we're pretty good. The reason I'm losing, or you guys are muting me, is because I'm losing service. And it just, when I click back in, it doesn't want me to, be that guy.
Gotcha.
We're good. I didn't honestly hear a lot of what he said. It was hard to hear what he was talking about. So
Yeah, essentially he was saying, he's trying to get some some youth involvement in the car show. And would really love to see it go towards a youth program that's, you know, kind of automotive or mechanical in nature
Okay,
from the fundraiser.
yeah, I don't know if we do have a racing club, a drag racing club that is still active, and it's based out of Astoria. There's not a lot. I think there's 5 or 6 kids there. There might be a little bit more now. I'm sure that they'd be love to be helping.
Hey, if you could get us a contact on that, we'll try to get it coordinated.
Yeah, I'll have Jennifer get it over to you.
Great.
Thank you.
Sorry. So Sunday. We're gonna take out all the pens except for the beef pens. So that's what we talked about. We're gonna do it for the very best too. When I talked to the livestock advisory committee, they have said that. They would prefer not to come back later in the week and that we want to do as much as we can on Sunday because we're pretty sure it's gonna be about 6 of us if we come back later. So it's been. We're gonna have some clubs sign up. So if you guys have any support or anything, then we'd love it on Sunday, but otherwise. Be panels and or pallets.
Yeah.
And another big thing. And then another big thing last year was like garbage bags, and we can talk about that more. But for the garbages were just overflowing, and then we took the bags out, and they were overflowing again. And
Are you guys someone to do that, or is it still volunteer? Throughout fair? Are you talking about throughout fair?
No. Sunday, here now.
All the panels and cages, I guess would be the best way to say. And really what it comes down to is it's heavy. It's hard for just Kelly and 1 or 2 other people, and like even bringing out the job corps students, it's kind of challenging to get them all. You know, we've got it's almost a couple hundred people here setting it up, and then it's like a handful of people cleaning it up. Yeah.
Tell people. So, well, and just look, if there's a bag, switch it out. I think our 4-H people might be willing to help at least some of that if there's something. If we tell them, look for a bag. I don't know, I can't guarantee it, but.
You can put bags underneath, like, and I do that at dairy, I double bag, and I always have a couple bags underneath because my kids then get lost and still under the bag. You can take it out and redo it.
Just an incredible amount of trash that comes out of this place over that week. Bill, our estimate from ecology is about $6,000 just for trash. Yeah. And so on that note, one of the things that I think we'll plan to do this year is just move the dumpster and the recycling out there with the roll off. Cause I know that got full and then people tended to want to just dump it right there at the dumpster instead of take it out to there. So hopefully that'll help that area stay a little cleaner. But it'll be a little bit farther walk to take trash to the pile. And maybe we can work with Recology to get some better recycling cans. Cause right now what we have out, like they say recycling, but it ends up all of the trash gets put in it. Yeah.
We sorted it all at my house in our driveway.
Ever sort through other people's.
So it was perfect. They don't,
That was
like school days and drive.
dinners, you know, like folded and shoved in the bowl. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Garbage can there, like next to the recycling. Oh, no, they have to take garbage.
Yeah.
Next to the.
That's just don't care anymore. That's the problem. They just really don't care. They'd rather all dump everything in one can and move along. And that's the sad truth of it.
Okay, so you get your drink in your hands. You're good.
I do use plastic. cups, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't love turtles. Write it down.
Turtles are scary.
Yes.
Well, I can go over our stuff a little, and I won't go over every single piece because there's so much to the fair, more than just this, but this is all of the paid stuff. So here's our budget, basically premiums, judges, temp help, fair entertainment, county expense, advertising, 331. So the stuff in this right column are, I've been working with folks. We've got pretty good ideas on what most of these numbers are going to come out to, but these aren't to the penny exact perfect. So they're just plugged in. The stuff that's on this column this is done. That is what the true number is. So that's kind of my way to keep track of the budget, knowing like I got to have something to go off of at the bottom line. So this stuff, open class premiums, $5,000, open class judges, $1,000, temp help, we have 10 grand in there. I think we did like 5,500 with all of the work that we had with teams last year. But this number here is really for the entire year. So if we were to do another event like the rodeo or mud drags or whatever, and we wanted to hire a temp, that would come out of that same 10 grand. So I just put it in there. Fair entertainment, buck trout, and this is where we can kind of talk about just the things. I mean, there's, like I said, a million other things going on in the fair that don't cost money that we got to deal with, volunteers, sponsorships, and all of that. But this is kind of the entertainment plan. So buck trout is a fair ambassador. He's like a puppet that goes around and he knows everything about the fair, and he just kind of engages people all day long and keeps them update with the schedule. We're working with inflatables vendors. We still haven't selected which items. We've got 3 different people that we're working with on the items they have available. We've got a 1250 budget, 12,500 budget plugged in there. And that's going to include, hopefully, ideally, at least one employee of theirs that's here. So they're not necessarily supervising every activity they bring, but they'll be supervising the volunteers that we have watching over the activities. We have this thrill show lined up. That's the Globe of Death, and it's BMX jumps and an aerial acrobat. And so that'll take up a pretty good footprint. They'll do 2 shows a day the first 2 days of the week and 3 shows a day the last 3 days of the week. Ride Hard is the folks that do the mutton busting. They're going to do mutton busting and sheep and goat roping. So older kids and adults will be able to participate as well. And then during all of the downtime, when there's not an actual activity in that arena, then they'll bring their longhorns out, and the longhorns will be in there just hanging out the rest of the day. Kids Love Bounce House is the smaller children's area. That's kind of the centerpiece of building a kids area. And then we'll have all of our other games and stuff out. Petting Zoo, we've got the same guy as last year. They're going to do 8 hours a day for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then they're going to start at 1 on Friday, and then go to close. And then they'll be here all day on Saturday. Pig roast is plugged in at $5,000 for 2 pigs. I only have 1 quote so far, and it's right at $5,000. I got to get 2 more quotes, and then we can pull the trigger on that. Rascal Rodeo will be on Tuesday. That's the adaptive rodeo. I think they said last year there was about 60 kids or so that participated. And so we'll be pushing that this year, trying to find some sponsorships and getting them signed up for that.
We do have. She's coming. Stephanie.
Hey, yeah, I need to call and talk to her about it. Yeah. For volunteering or for sponsorship. Oh, fantastic.
And I have some more volunteers for that, and then Gary can probably get some sponsorship for that too.
sometime in the next week, we do like a touch base together on where we're at with it. We're really trying to book as much local as possible. I mean, that's what I want to focus on. I think that's really what the identity of a county fair is supposed to be, is the citizens of the community are coming together. We booked Seth. He's gonna have a booth. He's gonna do some grounds work, and he's gonna do one performance on the stage each day. We've got the same photo booth guy coming back again. There was some talks on how we could maybe get that to pay for itself. I don't know if I don't know how that would work because you'd need somebody to man it, but one of the ideas was maybe to do a raffle, but I just don't think we're going to be there for this year, but it might be something to think about in the future. Like, you know, pay $1 for it and you get entered into a raffle. And then at the end of the week, you win something, if it's concert tickets or a meal or something. We're working on the stage. I have the whole schedule for the stage. I'll pop onto that table next, but basically our budget's about $7,000 to book bands, and we'll really be focusing on as many local bands as possible.
That's why, is it Chris McNary, the officer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, we can talk about this one a little bit later too, because we've got staffing that we've got to do, but he has offered to potentially work that week for us as a seasonal as well. So he may be an opportunity for some labor. And if he's a musician, he's retired, and he's actually a county reserve officer also. So he's already a county employee. We just have to figure out how to do the pay codes. But if he has some experience with performing, he could potentially be very valuable for us for our 2 concerts, helping set up and all that. I don't know. We paid him last year to play, and we've got him booked. Yeah. So we've got a lot of folks that have expressed interest, and we're just kind of trying to figure out who fits where and when, and really fits with family friendly, and trying to make that all work with everybody's availabilities. Callie sent the thing for a reptile show. I contacted them. The guy was booked, but he gave me his backup, and I coordinated with his backup. He's available on Tuesday and Friday. And he was saying, you know, 300 something for a show. It was, but I could do 2 shows on 2 days for $1,000. Oh, let's do it. That's right in line with what we would pay a band to play for that time. So, and it's something a little different. Last year we had the 3 grounds performers. So they took up a lot of time on the stage. So this will be nice to have some mix between what Seth's doing and then now this reptile show, and then yeah, whatever else we can sort out. Joe Nichols, Selena, this is basically all the concert stuff. Sound and light for the concerts, that's for 2 days. Stage for 2 days. Renting a generator. We've got to get the catering sorted out. These numbers are plugged in for that. RV dressing rooms. I've been talking with the gentleman that's buying the station from I don't know, from Meadows Broadcasting. And he's got a whole branch of stuff out of town in Longview area, Longview, Washington County, which we have some dollars that came from the county that's specifically supposed to be used for marketing out of town. And I was having some conversations with him and about all of our production stuff. And he put me on a lead for RV Center. He works with them for renting RVs. So potentially we could do some kind of deal. Maybe we don't have to spend this money and we can give him a sponsorship or something like that to get these RVs for the show. Okay. Spruce Up Carnival. So I talked with Jeannie at Spruce Up, and while she has promised her husband that she will not be involved herself personally, she has been coordinating to get 10 of their booths available for the fair, and she's working with various nonprofit groups to man them each day. The last I talked, she had 3 of the 5 days lined up. Yeah. She owns them. She's part of Spruce Up Warrington, but she is the owner of Main Street Market. Yeah. And so the only thing that they asked, especially since they don't know how it's going to go and it's different than what they normally do, and they're really funded with business licensing fees in Warrenton. The Spruce Up Warrenton essentially was the Warrenton Business Association. All the money that went to the WBA now goes to Spruce Up Warrenton. So that's how they're able to pay for the stuff that they do. So she asked if we could buy the prizes and then they would use that as their fundraiser. They are going to use more of a fair model where, you have to win a prize. So that should reduce some of the amount of prizes that we have to chunk out. She says they'll do $4,000 in prizes in just the one day. But every kid wins also. I hope that $5,000 is enough to buy prizes to get us through the whole week. She says she tries to stick to like the blow up stuff, like the blow up swords and aliens and balls and stuff like that, just because all of the other stuff can be tough to deal with those. And she said most of the kids are just really happy to have they see somebody else with it and then they want it themselves too. We've talked with Stephanie about after the talent show. It's hard to know when the talent show is going to be over and all that and what to do on the stage afterwards. And I pitched to her a karaoke and she suggested a bingo. And so maybe doing bingo right after the talent show on Wednesday night. And so we'll need some prizes. And again, that $400 is right in line with what we would pay a band anyways. And we could potentially get those prizes for free just by going and talking to all of the vendors that are coming to the fair and saying, hey, we're going to do bingo. Do we have a prize that you'd like to put into the bingo pot? This did say scissor lift for the spotlights. I saw at the festival I went to last weekend that they just had like 3 sections of scaffolding. So I had a conversation with Brady. He says he would love to not do a spotlight at all, but if we do have to do one, that a scaffolding would be fine for him. Like, I think we could buy 3 sections of scaffolding for less than what we're renting the man lift for every year.
Quick on that, are we gonna have the corn pit again? Because that was something huge. And then I usually put on the stick horse race in the arena, and that's usually on a Tuesday, and that's something free for the kids to do. And all the prizes come from Dairy Queen. So, I mean, those are some of the things that we need to get that out, because the corn pit's huge. And the race, I had the adults come back 2 years in a row to do that. They literally.
So I have this extra section down here. That's these no charge activities. I will input the stick horse race here. So the corn pit cost us about $1,000 to do. And so this is the number to see right here. That's all we have left on out of our budget. So we can put it in there and try to make it happen. No.
Maybe not last year.
1 year, you and I sponsored.
All right, I'm just telling you the truth.
If we could find the
Oh.
If-
Right.
If we could find the corn, I mean, we still have hay bales from last year. But we may not even need to buy hay bales. If they're still. Yeah,
I can donate.
sorry.
Horse trough.
What-
We were asked to decide.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And I, as a goat owner, had zero problem with it being inside.
And we have a few more animals this year. Especially goats, we have a few more goats we know that are coming, so we might have that space that has to be used for pets, so I'm just not sure if that's gonna be.
Well, we'll make room outside, I think.
Okay.
I just want to be clear, like, everyone was mad that we were asked to put it inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice to have some for the kids to have somewhere to go while the older kids are going.
It did.
So, you know, if it's trying to find a spot up here so that it's like you said, an activity center for them while they're up here, we'll have to figure out what that looks like. If not, you know, if we're gonna have bouncy houses and carnival games and stuff down here, we could potentially put it down, you know, over there with all of that other stuff, but it puts it a long ways away from up here. Yeah. And so and I was hoping to plug some of this stuff in, but so we've got at least the 10 carnival booths that Jeannie's providing. We've got 2 jousting pits that the Army's bringing. We've got the monster truck ride truck. The thrill show takes up 50 by 160. So this is going to predominantly be the ramps and the globe of death and the aerial acrobat. But the other one that I'd really like to just kind of round it all off is getting the equipment to be able to park kind of around the perimeter or somewhere. I've talked with Peterson Cat and it's likely that they are going to bring out some pieces of equipment that they'll stage. But if we could put, all we have to do is expand this back further. We could put unlimited amount of stuff over there. With the bounce house and the slide and the obstacle course but yeah, it's not little kid stuff. It's you know, 10-year-old. Yeah. And so the other right.
We'll have to be up here somewhere.
And the other thing is if it's not in here, this is kind of the kiddie area that it could be in this area.
You have to have it for the corn pit noise, especially with even heat. Remember we did with the heat because it was so hot that
When you're in the storm, I mean, there's nothing we could pretend with the safety one.
As a mom, like, I didn't even really stuff. I know some of the kids love finding stuff, but at some point it was just like, crap, stop, put it back. Like, it was just.
Not everybody's here all week.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about, I'm like, oh, last night.
Oh, yeah.
We did, and they got stolen.
Yeah.
So I got like really nice, like tractors from Egg Bag, we donated, and they were gone in 1 hour.
Yeah, because we went to Costco and we got even like the sand and the shovel, like all the buckets so that they had it and they were disappeared. So every day we were like, okay, we gotta get.
And we bought all that.
To be right,
Yeah.
right on it, like not for taking,
Well,
but
I don't think it matters. People just are like, oh, look at this really cool LS tractor that I'm now gonna take home.
Yeah, because we were doing fills every day.
We do have some shovels and buckets and stuff from last year that are still here. Yeah. You know, all of the citing of everything is really one of the next steps that we've got to do is start figuring out exactly where all of this stuff is going to sit. You know, I've got good ideas of where it's all going to go, but exactly how this is going to look between the inflatable activities and the carnival games and the ride truck and all of that still needs to be. I don't have one in mind at this point. But I can put that on my thoughts here. It would be great if you could get like a more of a traditional carnival truck and had it down there. It would be great. Yeah.
what do the Lums do with theirs? They sold, who did?
Okay. Where was I? Josh bought our concessions vendor bought one, and then we also have maybe somebody that's interested in having the cotton candy as well. Where was I? No, I was here. So portable toilets is about 11,000 for the week. The dumpsters is about $6,000. Stage is $8,000. This is the food court stage. The portable lights is about 7,500. But that's all part of that conversation with Peterson Cat for sponsorship, and so that number may be able to be a little bit more flexible. But essentially what we're gonna do for lights is try to get as many of them that will fit on one semi truck. Like last year we ordered like one semi truck and a couple of extra. Yeah, and so it's like, well, let's just do what fits on one and we'll make it work. And maybe we can get Big River to chip in a couple more.
Well, we have.
You have some too. But I think we can make it work with the, I think we can make it work with the 9 or 10 that they would provide and the 2 that we get from Public Works. And really this spot here, we could put a plug-in light. It doesn't necessarily need to be a generator on the one going, at that gate. Fair Sound, this is Scott. This covers all of the random stuff. And he said, anything we need gets covered in that.
He's also very.
He is. You. Go ahead, Tony.
So you said something, I kind of lost you there for a second, but you said something about Peterson Cat, maybe getting some donation. I don't know what kind of relationship you have with them, but I've got close to 30 years of relationship with them. I didn't know if you wanted me to reach out and
So do I.
see if you could get some stuff donated, or, oh yeah, I forgot Sarah's there. That's right.
Yeah. It certainly wouldn't hurt to leverage it. At this point, we're putting together this list of our sponsorship stuff, and I was going to send it to him. It sounded like they were interested in doing stuff. The guy I talked to is more of their sales, community relations. He's not really the marketing team, so he's got to go back to another branch. But I'm dealing with Santos. I don't know if that's the person you're dealing with.
I've dealt with Santos, but the guy I speak to, he's regional manager.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
if you got some levers, pull them.
Okay.
Okay. Where were we at? Rentals. Oh, this is helping Katrina with this open class stuff. Cart rentals. No, yeah, this is to help merge into the Showworks and all of that, but we shouldn't have to pay that in future years. Carts, we rented a 6-person cart for VIP shuttle, and then we rented one regular utility cart to have here. That's that price. Fencing, so if we're doing that area over there, we've got to fence it in. I've been working with CB Lawn Care, and he's got the fencing opportunity. We did some ballpark footage, and it's right in that area. We've got to feed volunteers. We need to find a van. This is a total wag. I don't know if $1,000 is a good enough number to rent a van for 2 days, but I certainly hope it is. It's for the band. We have to
Find out if we need 2, because is Joe Nichols gonna travel to Cats?
So they said we definitely need 1 van. The question was on a backup something for, and it wouldn't necessarily need to be a van. It could be a pickup or a car or something for if they're going in 7 directions. Because basically we've got 2 national acts. Our opening act is essentially a national act this year.
Does that mean the driver?
Yeah. Yeah.
My job comes with a van. I'm supposed to buy a Sprinter or something. Yeah. So I was just thinking
Sold here. Right now we go, you and I are gonna talk.
I don't know if I want to drive. I've got a cotton candy cart. I gotta run.
See, I have a van, but it doesn't have any seats in it. I don't think that's gonna fly. I pulled up to Matt's house. He goes, "What are you driving?" The ADA shuttle with the school district security. We've got to dial in this number exactly, but that should cover it.
Is he still on here?
No, he's not.
When was he here before?
I think the last time was 2017, but he was here.
I met him at the
Convention.
there too, and he was like, he remembered our fairgrounds.
He seems put together. He's
Super
very-
smart.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good.
Said you ask him a question, he's got a solution.
Is going down camping.
Yeah.
But also like, if I walk out with a drink, I'm going to be walking back in. Like, there needs to be some flexibility, like, I'm not camping this year. Also, Evelyn doesn't want to.
Wait, that's some of the conversation, and really it's the alcohol, and it's trying to, if it's like, that's alcohol, that's what they're gonna be concerned about. They're not gonna be concerned about everybody with a drink that they got from the food court or whatever, you know. But you know, if you've got a thermal flask and you're walking in and you look like you've been drinking all day, they're probably gonna ask you to dump it. Or yeah. That was part of the conversation we had with them, though, was, you know, yeah, it's no outside food and drink. That's pretty standard at any event, but it's also our community and we want to honor our community. But hopefully people are not just bringing in, you know, bags of McDonald's and stuff like that.
That's what we're trying not to.
Right.
Mom and dad with a couple snacks with their kid. It's good.
Or the diabetic.
It's really, you know, the people that have been out in their car drinking, making car cocktails, trying to bring them in. That's what our real concern is. It's not the person that's not going to come to the fair because they can't afford it and they need to bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know, they bring your lunch. I mean, they can walk out to their car and eat their sandwich, or they can just carry it in. What's the difference? And then we've got 20K for marketing. Granted, some of that's got to be for next year's fair for the spring to kick it off, but we'll want to spend a good chunk of this on marketing. And then no charge stuff to spruce up Carnival. The ride truck is coming. They're actually giving us a percentage. They'll give us $2 for every rider. The Army's bringing their people, the joust. They have 2 of them, so one of them will be set up like a normal joust. The other will be like a bounce house. All of our kids' games, we have that inflatable movie screen that I'd love to set up. I just did not have the time to do that last year. But it'd be cool to do a movie at the fair. Like at night, yeah. I mean,
For not for 4-H kids, for people who are here.
yeah, we'd set it up either over there or up at the pig roast area or something. If I can get this art gallery lined up, I'm pretty confident we'll be able to get at least something. I just don't know how big of a footprint it will take. We got the car show, Peterson cat displays, and maybe some others if we can sort out some stuff. Added the stick horse. We've got, I can't say it, Matizio. It's the Northwest Central, El Centro.
Oh,
They're gonna come because Saturday night we're doing the Latino concert with the Selena tribute. They're going to do a performance just before gates.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be myself.
And then the talent show. And so these are some other ideas that I still had. I had Corn Pit plugged in here because I thought you guys might want to have some conversation about it. They had at the festival I went to last weekend, they had that Pepe's Water Palooza there. And when I was looking at it, I said, this is stuff that we could probably make some of these. I'd say it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen this year, no, but potentially we could buy like some of the like Fisher Price type water tables that are like commercial. Like you just buy them and set them up, or maybe even people have them. We could put a thing outside. Does anybody have some water tables they can come and we can set up? Oh, yeah.
Well, the table folded down. All my stuff gets broken every second. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, it's fine.
I talked with Eric about that logging carnival. I said, what's up with these guys? They have ghosted me and their Facebook page isn't even active anymore. Which was really weird. I thought that you couldn't delete a Facebook page, you know.
Yeah, stop.
And so he said he didn't know because he has them booked for the Spokane Fair.
He hopes.
So he said, well, did you find a back? I said, no. I go, really, if we could find anything, even chainsaw carving or something. So he gave me a lead on a chainsaw carving.
Rainier FFA
No, some group is doing it for Klaskanai for, they like do like a parade every year. Really, do you know what I'm talking about? They used to have a little logging show that they would put on every year and they're bringing it back this year.
Fourth of July. It's the 4th of July
Yes,
parade slash.
yes, and they
Celebration.
brought it.
Yeah.
Yes, they're bringing it back this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
State fair one year there. They just had some guy just carve it.
Yeah.
That's the one that Eric sent me, because he said they come to the fair every year and people love it. It's like Bear Hollow carving or something. But I don't know if it's one of those things where they're a booth or if we pay them to be here. I don't know. And you can see our budget's getting really, really thin. And there's still, you know, those, we don't have much buffer for the, what did we forget? You know, that type of stuff. I do too. I would rather not have two of those other things that are booked and have that logging show that we had seen, but can't make them come. The other one is the speed gun. I really think that would be a cool idea. See who can throw. It'd be like for like baseball or softball or football, who can throw the hardest, and you kind of have like a leaderboard. I think that'd be awesome. I remember doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I will post on my Facebook asking for people to.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see, and I'll touch with Eric and see if he's got any other leads, because he books entertainment all over the country, not just in the Northwest. He works from Nashville to here. Yes, that will be here. I didn't mention that when we were on that one, but yeah, that will be here as well. Last year it was always free. Which means, was it free for people to use?
They came.
Did it for free most of the week, and then after 5 o'clock, so after hours.
So there was
put aside.
So that's kind of like the paid part of it. There's still a lot more to do with sponsorship and volunteers and working out shift schedules and marketing and advertising. But for the intent of a roundtable, I don't think we necessarily need to get into the weeds with that piece, unless you guys can help us find sponsors and volunteers. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Posters I brought here for concerts, the Friday and the Saturday concert, and I'll you. So I've got then these, like, so Mallory and Brittany, when you guys were selling the concert tickets at your venues, at your establishments. Since we're not doing that, we're doing everything online. We're doing our copy tickets. You do too. I've got some for you too.
At least
so
one or
here's
two
a-
of this.
Here's upright with the QR code so people can see it.
Perfect.
So they
Flush walls, yeah.
Fantastic.
Great
Yeah.
idea.
We can buy more stands, and I mean, I'd love to see every business in Clatsop County with one at their check stand.
I would like at least one or two of those, because it'd be nice to have one at counter and then one at drive-through, so that I'm not like running out to grab it and stuff. So I can just be like.
Yeah.
And I had Mexican last night, and I was thinking, like, we need to be hitting the Mexican restaurants with that for Selena. Is
I talked with Cornelio, who was the gentleman that did the Mexican rodeo. He's the one that helped coordinate the opening act, and I've been talking with him a lot. He's gonna come by tomorrow. I'm gonna give him a big stack of flyers. He says he typically only goes a month out. But we'll have some conversations. We're talking about 6 weeks about there, right? Yeah, and these have the sponsors to date on there. So there's that piece also. That's one of the things. It's like, we want them out, but we also want the sponsors to be on them.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to update that in real time. Okay. thank you all for coming, and we'll jump into our regular meeting. I think you're it. I invited them to come. I sent the invite to Jack and Cassie. Is that her name? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I did talk to Jack today, just, I mean, about the add-ons. So that is something we're trying to do, is to have add-ons to be able to do it online. Yes, don't know if that will be a thing this year. I am trying. So.
Oh, that's something, yeah, because we've already got the add-on stuff at the office, and they are flying out the door.
Yeah. Yeah, so it might not be this year, might be next year, but even if the slips are out there, there could be another option to do it online.
I would love an
I just
option to
know
go in and do.
that-
Our code
Yes.
the night of the off here and
Yes.
be able to just.
Yeah, I didn't
about-
get to go to that, so I didn't hear that part, but yeah, I'm trying, so I don't know who, do you know who on the auction committee was trying to do that at all?
I think it was, let's talk about.
Okay.
It's you.
I just know that my.
What they had said was that you were anti having anything done with credit cards. That you, and it was, we were, those of us that were pushing for it, were like, well, you just tell them they have to pay the.
So I'm not, yeah, I'm not anti the credit cards. That was a Jack Ficken thing. He didn't want the people who were sponsoring the commission fees to stop doing that because they got out of hand, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think that we need to worry about that part. I'm not worried about that part. Yeah, it's a cost of business. It is what it is. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not worried about that part. I will take a card all day long if you're gonna pay on time, because guess what? We just got Coastal's check. So. So guess what? I will take your card any day of the week. Well, there was a whole lot more to start with. There was a whole lot more to start with before all of that with them, but it's been very painful. So no, I am happy to take cards. We have Square, we'll have the option to invoice people. I'm hoping, so that'll all be easier. I would love to do add-ons online because that takes so much of my time Yep. So that's what I'm hoping to like get figured out, because you just have to have like, yeah, there's different pieces of it. So
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard. Well, it doesn't matter. We can have both options. Yeah, because
As a person that like buys animals and does add-ons, I would love an online option. That way I could just go and tick off all the people that we want to do. And then that will be, separate.
I'm trying to figure out my hang up with Square right now is trying to figure out how the businesses, because it is for the businesses, I feel like more so that have 20 kids on their list. And those are the ones I think would really benefit from that option.
Yeah.
It's great for the one here and there too, but I don't see any problem having paper and electronic. It's gonna have to be that way for a couple of years anyways.
Also have to
but
remember.
that's all.
paying Credit card, you have to make sure that person sold it, because, I mean, you have to do that anyway.
Well, I mean, you can do refunds.
Yeah,
They're easy.
yeah. You have to sell an animal to get.
It's blocking.
Yeah.
And just give an add-on to something.
And that's actually, to be honest, for them to do it by credit card is easier for me to do the refund than to call the person and say, hey, so do you just want to do a donation to the, auction committee? Because otherwise we have to write you a check. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jared, thank you guys so much for coming. Appreciate it. We're gonna roll into our regular meeting. Called to order. Everybody's here. We have somebody that wants to approve the agenda.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Is there any public comment? That's all done. Okay. We need to approve the consent calendar of our minutes.
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar minutes. For 5/7/2024.
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carries. Are there any other board member reports?
just real quick, I did talk to Steve Mackey and he never got an email or a, link or anything for sponsorship. So he goes, well, yeah, I'll think about it, but you gotta send me one first. So he's waiting on that. And then I did reach out again to Kelly Kitely regarding his RV for Joe. And so, that's all I got. Oh, and for the, sorry, and for the Rascal Rodeo, I have 2 more volunteers. And I know Kelly, you did that for like Facebook post. We have quite a few horses too, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna send everyone a link for signing up online. So I'll take care of that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And then Abby Stemper messaged me. She's interested in sponsoring. I just haven't heard back from her because she was gonna talk to someone else as well.
Anybody else have anything to report? You have something else?
Real quick, for volunteers that want to volunteer for Rascal Rodeo, should they contact you, Kristen? Who should they contact?
We'll post a link. They
Okay.
have to fill out.
Okay,
I think with the Rascal Rodeo piece specifically, that's through the Rascal Rodeo
Okay.
group. They do all of that coordination directly with them.
Okay.
And then they have everybody pre-registered and signed up and they know
Right.
we're out of the loop on it. We're basically just
okay.
supporting them financially and marketing for them as much as we can.
It's one of those rewarding things. Yeah, it's awesome.
They're going to run the carnival booths after the Rascal Rodeo for the day with Spruce Up for Winton and do a fundraiser for themselves. That's why we're involved as much as we are this year, because they just couldn't afford to financially run it. And so hopefully we can build this and get this sponsorship program built for it. And then it's an automatic every year for them.
Get the current version of your spreadsheet with vendors and food people,
Yes.
when you have a minute, please. And then I reached out to all of, I think I sent to you and posted all of the people that I highlighted for previous sponsors on the concert, and I sent emails and links and all of that. I have the link for TV Brothers before.
Okay.
And then the only other thing was, I don't know if you guys have gotten back in contact with Lums. He had sent me an email. I think I forwarded it to you guys. I didn't know.
It's gonna
You guys have it.
discuss that with me. It's kind of,
Did you guys have it?
it's just, it's figuring out what exactly they need. I mean,
Yeah.
they have the email, but, and it's just basically saying they want insurance.
That's because April got in.
Basically all it says, so just, yeah, I'll talk with you a little bit about that after the meeting. Say, I think it would be great if we could schedule maybe some of those committee meetings and like, especially as we're getting closer and try to get a little tighter. It's been really busy, but so we'll have to, I think what's important would be a sponsorship, a vendor one, because we still have time to recruit more vendors. But the food vendors, and we've got 10 food vendors, but if we had 2 more, I think would be ideal. But we really need them locked in before July 1st, because there's all the health department stuff that has to be done with the food vendors specifically. Okay.
Figured.
Nice. We have the coffee and crepes vendor, but I don't think that that's like a traditional coffee shop. He has not applied. We've sent him the packet.
Pretty upset last year, but I mean, that's.
Yeah. I did have a conversation. I did have a conversation with Emily today. Because I was not expecting her to be a fair vendor. I don't think she did very well last year, but I thought she just didn't have the manpower and all that. But apparently I was wrong about that. She's just busy. But what I was pitching to her was at least setting up during the 2 concerts so that we would have that non-alcoholic beverage vendor up there. And she sounded like she was very interested in that. But she also said it's not off the table for her to potentially be a fair vendor. But yeah.
Another opens, I think part of the thing, because I walked by it, and it never opened. You
Yeah.
have to go in.
Well, and they're hiding out like on their cell phones.
Yeah.
Like,
Outside.
make the back open and do the cotton candy thing,
Yeah.
but if you don't,
Maybe they need to have a sign that says step up.
or like the bus windows. Maybe
That is something we definitely want to have better. Like, we can do 11 by 17 posters all day long, but that doesn't really do it all for you. What we need is the ability to print and have, stuff that looks more like a banner or an interpretive sign type stuff. Okay.
Get rid of.
Yeah, we'll take them. Yeah, we'll take them. Just overloading with information for people is really the goal. I think we'll do better this year, but we still probably won't be as great as we'd like to be, but we're going to continue to improve on that as time goes by. Yeah, and then sponsorship, like I think we're at least at 50% with what I think people know for the concert. What we know people have said they're going to. We still need to do some follow-ups with some other folks. But then there's also the non-sponsorship and really hitting the new folks. Like, we've really only focused on the people that sponsored us last year so far. Hitting on some of the other stuff that wasn't sponsors, especially like Hampton and Lewis and Clark Timber and the canneries and the hotels. There's a lot that we could do. I made this list of all of the businesses in the county, but it's way too big. We need to pare it down. Maybe if each of us could come up with 20 ideas. And
if you could give me just like a little bit like of a pinpoint of information to share too. I went to SDDA, Seaside Downtown Development Association, the last 2 weeks. And have talked about sponsorships, talked about the concerts and everything, but if we have like just a couple of like pinpoints of what maybe they could be a part of or donate or sponsor or whatever, I'm happy to be like a little bit more informative on those.
Finalize the sponsorship levels, the standard non-concert sponsorship levels.
I sent it all to you guys in one of the weekly updates quite a while ago.
You already know that
Yeah. And so we have it. It's just, it needs to be made to where it is usable, right? Like, we have the levels. It just needs to be, that project needs to be completed and moved on. And at this point, we just need to get something and then build on it even more next year. It's really surprising that we're having to do this from scratch.
Is it like the job? Is that what you're?
It could be, yeah, especially the commitment form. Yeah.
Yes, Davis with Hampton,
Yeah.
but you need something to give them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really where that's been the thing. It's been trying to balance and get that done and not be embarrassed about what we send to somebody. You know what I mean? So yes, if you guys have, I could send what I have to you. And then we can get her done. Like, I know we've got Peterson Cat and Pacific Power on the hook. And I know we've put a bug in with Lindsay already. And so getting her something that she can commit with. She was talking about her buckets. But that's, one of the things. It's all of these people get hit all year long. It's something that's, it's not a get it done right before the fair. It's all year long working. It's just something we're gonna have to continue to work on in the future and just build and build and build on it. So I think we only put like 5K in the
Okay,
budget
so
for
we did-
anticipated revenue.
Okay, so we did
Our
it by-
concert's 60K. We need 60K for the concert. And it's really just starting the program and that we can continue to build on. Great. So you're on to me. Managers reports. Yes, I just have 3 things, which Kristen helped me with this. Let me find it. Oh, that's not where it is. Too organized. Here we go. Okay, so this was the concert sponsorships as of today. So ABBA, Classic Body Works, Coastal, Lewis and Clark, P&L, Portland, Toyota, S&H Refrigeration, Saltair. Morrissey has committed. She hasn't filled out the paperwork yet though. So I know Morrissey's there. Teven. Okay. And then Helixo has said that they will sponsor. They didn't say what level that they were going to do, but they did 5K last year. So, add on those 3 that we just added and we're already over our 50% mark. Nygaard would be another big one. That would be another good chunk. And then, yeah, we just need to follow up with them. So we're not doing a VIP area on the Selena, but we could certainly leave their banners up. I don't have a problem with that. But the whole area will just be open for the Selena show. There's that one. We'll just kind of keep you up to speed on that. This is the current vendors. Chimney, Coastal Splash, Cooper Kettle, Hot Dog Del Sur, Dippin' Dots, Coffee and Crepes, ML Express, Monte Alban, Starlight, Trace Bros. I talked to Rob. He said, no, I don't think I'm gonna come. It's like, okay, well, I've been holding out for you. So I put a call into Repair 3 yesterday. He says he's very interested. He's talking with his family to see if they can make it work. He was concerned that he may be already committed on Saturday. So I'll have to see what his response is.
Hold on, can we go back up a little bit and just slow down slower?
Yeah, and I can.
I just kind of want to know what the genre is of each of these. So we have Copper Kettle, which is probably kettle corn and stuff, right? So snack food items, desserty type things. Chimnix, same type of thing. Coastal Smash is burgers and fries. Hot dogs is
Hot dog Del Sur, bacon wrapped hot dogs, lettuce dogs, Sonora dogs. They also have like nachos that are with like Takis and fancy chips and stuff.
I'm assuming a lettuce dog is it wrapped in lettuce or
I don't know. Here's dude, a loaded hot dog is I don't think so. I think they're from out of town.
They're from California.
Mm,
They're probably do these fairs and everything.
let's see. They're on their application they sent. There's like a picture of a hot dog. Look at that. On their application, they sent some pictures and they have their menu.
Okay. What else do we have? So
Dippin' Dots,
Dippin' Dots,
coffee and crepes.
Like what kind of coffee do they actually do like actual coffee drinks?
Lily Rose she's downtown, the pink food shop. I've never had her coffee. Her crepes are incredible.
I love crepes.
It's
Turkish coffee, brewed coffee, sodas, Italian sodas.
I just messaged Jeff. I can bring mine.
That was one of the things we wanted to do this week was just make a list of all of the coffee vendors and solicit them.
Just message Jeff. I'm sure he'll do it.
He may just be so busy that he hasn't had time, or maybe he thought he missed his opportunity. Who knows?
And
If you have a conversation with him, I think one of the issues was the ice, right?
there was another, but I
Great.
I got it.
I feel like
okay.
there's a food that's missing from there. I don't.
But the barbecue isn't on
Oh,
there.
that's fine.
And so, and hopefully that repair 3 will come. He's been going to a lot of events around town. Yeah. And he's a little bit different than Ribs by Rob is ribs. Right? The repair 3, he's got like, he does have lots of different stuff, but, he's got like, I can't remember what all he had. He had like some brisket bites and pulled pork sandwiches and, like, his name's Taylor Conlin. It's Repair 3 Barbecue.
On Facebook lately, but I just Jeff is on vacation right now. He said he will be back actually on Monday, so I'll go see him on Monday.
Okay. You know, Monte Alban is the one Mexican place. If we're doing a Latino day, we may want to have additional, but I feel like I really need to talk with them first and make sure that that's not going to be a problem for them. Maybe they want to do 2 booths. What's that? Yeah. They're not really Mexican. It's they're like rice bowls. That's what they're stuff.
Really good.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe
are-
it's covered. I know, I wouldn't want to invite just another Hispanic one without talking to them. The other fairs would allow them maybe to have 2 booths. You know, maybe they set up, or maybe they get a larger footprint, or maybe they have somebody in mind that they'd be happy to share with. I don't know. I know one of the other things we see at a lot of the quinceaneras is like the corn on the stick, like the roasted corn.
There is a vendor that came to Junior Rodeo last year in Long Beach, and they did fish and chips and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And I talked to them. About being vendor. I have their information somewhere. I will
And
find
it's
it.
routed. I mean, it's the week before, right?
It is, no, it's actually the weekend after.
Yeah.
So you've got the pro show, the pro rodeo, then fair, and then. Well, yeah, so actually it kind of does overlap because auction night and that is.
Yeah, it was that, oh, it's this one, yeah, the cake for the.
The hot dog they'll serve.
Yeah. Right?
I don't know.
No, and it's one of the, no, it's places.
Do they?
Or is it? I don't know where
I
it is.
saw elephant ears and something somewhere.
Corn dog right there.
Yeah, and All Express. I don't think they're the real big, you know, like corn dogs and doing them in type, but I don't care.
Chicken. Elephant.
Yeah.
And here, Josh could do corn dogs. If we talk to him.
Yeah,
I don't need.
it's delicious.
It's like,
I'm sorry,
it's
what?
like elephant ear batter that they drip in instead of laying it out in a sheet. Cotton candy. Yeah. So I talked with Jeannie. She said they have cotton candy at the fall harvest. She said the #1 flavor that they sell is jalapeno flavored.
What?
Yeah. No, cotton candy. Yeah.
That's like a whole new level of sweet. It's all the weird stuff. My mom had cotton candy. The pickle one, and it was all the weird stuff that's sold.
She's not on, she hasn't applied.
Like, where am I gonna stop all these?
Who has canceled because we don't? There was one person that canceled. I don't know if she specifically said, but there's a lot of people when I try to convince them, they say, do you have a carnival? Yeah. They don't say one way or the other if they're coming or not, but they don't sign up. And then also some of the vendors that have signed up, they're just asking and they're like, oh, okay, well. Yeah. I'm not keeping like a noted list of who it is, but we definitely are like, we're hearing it a lot. And then we have, the chicken coop and the concession stand, so there's more food.
And pig roast. Yeah.
and the pig roast. Yeah, he's basically wanting the same price. He's wanting the same price to do 2 pigs.
Yeah, it was only a free for all one time. Maybe you got it.
But yeah.
Yeah, we were served.
Well, did I even say funny?
Retail vendors, name rings as seen on TV, Annie's Jammies, Brims, which Raina broke her foot. I don't know if you guys heard that. Hopefully she's up and running by the fair. The henna by Corey, she's coming. Face Jeannie got somebody lined up to do face painting though, so they'll be here to do face painting down on the other part. Fairy Vision is some jewelry. The gutter guy, Steph's got his booth. Magic, what do we got? The one religious group so far, another jewelry,
Shop there. Hats and sunglasses.
and then this guy that's like your typical fair booth that's got all of the toys and gadgets and all that. Sheriff's office and fire department. So there's that. Thank you, Kristen, for putting that all together. And then we did a survey on the concert, and so I wanted to go over that. Everybody that came to the concert had an amazing time. Maybe Mallory wants to say her experience.
I think it was fantastic. The one of the things we heard was having like the laser lights. It was hard to really like see them because obviously this is all a mess. So having maybe like a sheet or something, if you're gonna do that again, to go over it so you can actually really like see the show.
Something for it to land on.
Yeah, something that it can actually like make a solid whatever it's doing. It was fantastic. They did a really good job. They ran out of beverages way too soon.
So I did want to follow up with that. Maybe we talk about that afterwards, as I talked with Carol on Friday, and he was not aware that they ran out of.
Yeah, they ran out of stuff before the show even started. I was driving, so I wasn't drinking, but my crew that I had that I was driving was not impressed.
He said, "Oh, my crew didn't tell me that."
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
they ran out.
I'll find out the truth.
But no, they saying they did great. It would have probably, they could have had a lot more people, but
Yeah, we
it was
could have put 2,000 people in there. It was a little over 300. And I honestly, I haven't looked through these results yet, so I'm kind of looking at these the same time as you because it's been wildly busy around here. But I recognized a lot of faces in the crowd, and I made some phone calls to people I knew and talked with them. And for them, mostly it was just getting the word out more. And I said, I can acknowledge that. Like, we made the decision in February, we really had it locked in March, and then we had basically 2 months to promote the show, which is a really, really tight time frame. So more time would have been helpful for us, but hey, we broke the ground and now we know what to expect, and people liked it. So
I don't know how the concession stand did, but I think I visited that maybe you should probably tell them how many times I visited, but the nachos with the pork on it was like so it was very good. It was fantastic. It was so I just continued to go
So much
fun. It's great. It was good. Because that's what I started thinking about was all the food that I ate. Because Dave and I kept going back. And all of our friends who were with us were just down to drink, and Dave and I were like, "No, we want food." So that's what we did. That's real life.
yeah.
Well, I thought you guys had talked, so well, people don't go to eat, but they come early enough, they eat.
Oh, I eat everywhere I go.
Yeah, and
There was no time frame. Barbecue sandwich. We got 2 sets.
and it varies too. Like, that's what's really difficult and challenging about where this fairgrounds is that there aren't services that are close. So people have to, you can't park and go there and then walk over to here. Whereas,
I think having people know that there was food here, because like our group was like, oh, well, let's go get food first. And I was like, no, I know what I'm gonna have. So then we all wound up eating.
yeah, everybody said they had a great time. One person didn't particularly like the lasers, but he said it kept shining in my eyes. I was like, I obviously I was busy. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
I felt like the stage lights shined me more.
And that's probably what they got mixed up with,
Yeah.
is I did get hit with those, but that's what you expect.
At a show, yeah.
Yeah, and that was new for those guys to be here. Obviously, we'd never done this. They needed more time to set up. It was right up to doors. Like their sound check was 2 hours later than it should have been. They still had more lights they could have put up. But I mean, you wouldn't know from the crowd, but they wanted to do more, and it didn't leave me any time to really like appreciate the space before everybody came in, because it was basically like it's 6 o'clock. We gotta let. Yeah, I think people were absolutely loved it. The price was right. I think that time of the year is a little tough because there's a lot going on, and that might have been some of it as well. But with more lead time, people can make plans further ahead. I could see us potentially doing something in that same time frame, and then maybe doing a second one right after Scandinavian Festival, right before point, like doing a different genre. Like there's certain people that are gonna like country, western type stuff. Some people like rock. Some people that
Even like a square dancing opportunity.
Well, so then there's that too. We could do something in the fall that's just getting this floor down. And so figuring that piece out.
Be nice.
And we don't have to do the whole floor in order to make it work. I'm gonna reach out and talk to the vendor on this also and just see if they have some tips. Like, are we doing this wrong? Is there an easier way? Because the way we're doing it, it's a lot of physical labor. I saw on their website they have this little cart. Yeah, and it's like a pool cart. I'm like, well, if that's the thing, and you can just use the cart and pull it and lay it down right where it needs to go, that would be way less labor intensive than what we're doing. Basically, 3 dudes roll it out and then 5 people pull it over and line it right up. It's very intensive. So one person was not happy apparently, but 13 yeses. Lasers are fun. Acoustics were great. Great atmosphere. Fleetwood Mac walked by. I've been to many tributes. Fleetwood Mac walked by. What does that say? What am I missing here? Let's cut off. For the price, unbeatable. Bleachers, not so much, but there's not much we can do with that.
About what can we improve?
Face felt too large for the event. That's just, we needed more people. Seats. Yeah, sitting in the bleachers is tough. Ran out of drinks. Which it was one type of drink that they ran out of, right? It was like a canned cocktail.
That's all they had was canned cocktail.
Yeah.
And they ran out of all of them.
Yeah.
Was it Oregon beverage?
Yeah. And they didn't run out of beer, right?
So they ran out of, they had the whiskey and Coke in a can. They had lemonade and whiskey in a can. They had something else though. The vodka soda thing they ran out of. And then all they had was Budweiser, dark cherry, seltzer, something.
An IPA and a Ultra.
The IPA, I think they sold out of, and Ultra had like, yeah, I think that was Ultra and the seltzer.
I looked in the crap because they still had IPA at the end of the show.
They did.
I know that there was still Ultra and IPA in the cooler. But I didn't know what else they had. I wasn't drinking because I was working my butt off, so I don't know what happened. I know when I talked to Carol, he was surprised to hear that, and his team didn't tell him that they ran out.
Well, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Seating comfort, so that's, I guess. I mean, yeah, we can't change anything with that. Space was large. We were. We did have some tables out. People definitely liked the tables.
Yeah, we stood up at the table. Both.
Once people got dancing, it was great. Like the crowd got up there, but concert was 7 p.m. was a good time. So yeah, they like that. If you like concessions, it looks like it's middle of the road with a 1-1-1. Would you be interested in having other food options? Yes. If you purchase alcohol, how's your service experience? So 3, 4s, and 5s.
I think you were right about the college thing. Clubs right there. So, yeah. Does anybody know what a scrub is, literally?
That just.
Typo?
It might be a typo.
It was verbatim, I just copied and pasted. Try to do these sort of. What is a scrub? What's the tail?
What is it?
It's gonna be blocked on the.
It's gonna just.
A fruit liqueur.
Concentrated syrup that typically made from fruit.
17 and 18.
Okay. Would you be interested in having other alcohol, non-alcoholic beverages? How did you hear about it? Facebook, looking online at fair, coastal river.
Yeah, I love
Must be
it.
online. I don't understand.
Well, it's only like once a, is
Oh.
it once a quarter or once
Yeah.
a, yeah.
It's like all of these people said they'd come back, but you know, it's the people that chose to also fill out the survey too, so. Was this your first time visiting Clatsop County Fair? 2 yeses. Oh, that's cool. That's good info. Favorite social media platform? Facebook, Instagram. Which is something we deal with all the time. You know, people think all of the events that happen at the fair are done by the fair. Okay.
Nice.
So as part of this, and
Yeah.
we'll, you know, in the future, now that we have this built and we can just tweak it for future ones, we'll put something out here too with like a scan, and we'll have when we did it on this also said, put your email address in for a chance to win concert tickets. And
That's a good
so
idea.
we have that there, people will be more likely to fill out
Yeah,
our
for
survey
sure.
afterwards. So yes, Kristen, thank you for that too.
Thank you.
What's that? So I would like to book something for that same time frame as soon as, I mean, we could do it anytime. We just need to work with Jason to find another act that we want to agree on. If we wanted to do something in the fall, we would have to put some thought into how that's going to look, because the floor is the big part. I think it would be great to do, maybe not this, but when we do the rough stock event, maybe an after party and we get a band in there. So on that side.
500 per event.
Yeah. I think some of that too, people didn't know what to expect. Was it outside? Was it on the dirt floor? Was it in there? You got to get the word of mouth out. And they'd said it could take 3 years before it's profitable.
Concert in there, for, you know, going with that.
Well, they had their concert in here all night till 1 a.m. They set a stage up in the corner, and they had like 5 bands, and they play through the entire thing. The bands are playing while they're bull riding. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else we have. we had an issue with the freezer in the concession stand. We got that sorted out. We borrowed the 4-H Association's chest freezer for the weekend and, so that was a lifesaver because we wouldn't have been able to set them up. Trying to think what else. We've got the fire, there's a valve on the fire system that needs to be replaced. We had Cascade Sound out looking at the system. It sounds like the majority of the problem is with the equalizer in there, not necessarily the equipment out here. But he said, really, the stuff has come so far. It's like you could replace each one of these devices and we could get you there. He goes, but you could just get one device that would do what that entire cabinet's doing for much less and will do it all. So that'll be something to look at. It's probably going to be like $5,000 to upgrade this sound system to get it functioning properly again. There's a lot of mowing that needs to be done, grounds maintenance. We had all these Job Corps students out to help clean up the floor in the outdoor arena, and the intent was that they would help us weed eat everything. I don't know if when you pulled in, you saw how much it was overgrown, but it rained like cats and dogs those 2 days. And so Kelly used them to help him pull out all of that stuff. So we got some value out of them, but now we've got to weed whack the hillside. The sheriff's office got buildings and grounds to take care of that area out there. It looks much better. And now that it's been kind of beat back, Kelly can mow it and it won't get as bad again. But like Kelly said, he goes, I don't even know what's out there. He's like, I couldn't have ran my machine out there without worrying about running over something. We have so far 5 applicants for seasonals, so we'll be trying to get somebody hired here to start ASAP and then try to get some more for closer to the fair. The intern program, there was some good options. When we had sent them a job description, it was more of like an event planning, learning about the events industry type of job, but our real need was maintenance. So we tried to shift a little, but at that point in time, it was hard to land on somebody. They were either, the ones that were good candidates were either too young, didn't have a driver's license, or they had already been hired by somebody else. So I think we can probably use that program next year and we can find something good now, knowing more what they're looking for and how their process works. But we have 5 applicants, so that's good. That was really part of the problem. Last year, there just was nobody that was applying. So that's where we're at. The fire hose has been turned back on. It's just nonstop. There's tons of events. Go ahead.
Can I bring up something and everybody just remain?
Yeah.
It's actually something that really does need to be discussed if it's going to happen. So at some point in time, we need to talk about fair dates for next year. And I mean, by some point in time, I mean in the next month. Nobody freak out, but if we do move it, which if there's a possibility, breeders are gonna need to know within 4 weeks from now, as in like goat breeders.
Yeah.
And then pig breeders by September, we need to know I mean, it's okay if we have to push out another month, though. I don't mind that one bit to be able to push out, longer on breeding, but we just need to know. So it's some discussion that we all need to have.
Well, I think the biggest thing with that is me personally, it's not gonna be worth moving our fair dates unless we have a commitment from
A carnival.
carnival
Correct.
company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
that, like signed dotted line, like, hey, we're gonna do this, so we'll move our dates to accommodate that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like you say. Oh. I was just gonna say, if it might not even be this next year,
Or
it's gonna be 2 years out. But it would be nice, I mean, it wouldn't be nice, it's essential to have that contracted before we even think about changing dates, yeah.
But we really need to commit on doing it. And I know we've talked about these things, but this time we need to commit and decide and seek if we can get a carnival. Like he said, even if it is 2 years out, that's fine, but we need to commit to the dates to make it more doable for everybody, for breeders, for 4-H, for FFA, for everybody. So if we plan ahead as best we can, it would be an easier transition and we won't get as much kickback from everybody.
I also think we have to also refer, like, just because we get a carnival if we move the fair in 2 years, doesn't mean we're always gonna get a carnival.
Exactly.
Because pre-COVID, at the OFA convention, they said, get used to the fact that every fair will not have a carnival, that they're going away. I mean, I know how much our car insurance is. It just doubled. So I'm sure that they're having the same issue in their costs. So just because we see this glowing bulb of a potential carnival, doesn't mean that once we get it, the bulb's gonna burn.
We could do it like not an annual, but like I have to try to get one every 5 years or something like that, where it's a really fun year that we get to
Well, even
bring
if
it
we could
in.
get it for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah,
or-
somewhere,
That almost certainly would be. See,
and that's fine.
they would also probably want like a 3-year contract. And so it probably would be locked
If we're
in.
gonna do it, that's what we do.
We would want in,
Yeah.
yeah, as well.
But the contract doesn't keep someone from going out of business.
That's true.
Okay, I know I haven't been putting much effort in. I mean, I asked the questions, but I haven't been doing anything seriously one way or the other, but I can go through the list of carnival operators and make contact with them and get them on the record what would work for them and bring it back to you all.
We're just, I know everybody worries, and so we start hearing that we don't, or that the fair dates might be changed, or that this is happening, and as a board, we're like, well, we haven't heard that, so I think that if it's something that is gonna be considered, we need to be committed and plan it and do it the right way.
Story, this is when people have asked, the problem is there's too many carnivals that week. There are too many fairs that week. If we were to get one back, we would have to change our fair date. So that's not saying we are changing it, it's saying
I know,
that
but you
it's not
know
coming
how-
back until we do that. Right? Right.
I am not in favor of moving the fair. Lot of moving parts. It's not just the fair board. It's a lot of moving parts that.
It is.
And with the
Not only that,
butcher.
The butcher is also a big.
Butcher's a very.
not only that, moving it a week, just 1 week later puts our state fair kids.
Yeah.
Right up against state fair the following week.
I mean, even a week later, we're not gonna get somebody a week later. It'd have to be a week earlier.
Earlier, yeah, we would have had 2 months ago, so definitely it's gonna happen in 2020.
Anyway, but I think we can all agree that, like, even if we're gonna do this, it needs to be planned out and down the road. Yep. Okay, well, let's go ahead and skip right down to the good of the order.
I just
Yeah.
have one thing.
Okay.
Hannah Bake is going to have her vendor application complete. She has, she makes shirts, sweatshirts, tank tops, tumblers, cups, keychains, fair bows. And she can make things at the fair.
Oh,
So she
cool.
has like a heat press, or I don't know what it is, but she's just waiting on her business license.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe we can get her to help us make some fair merchandise as well.
Very normal, people.
Valerie, you have anything?
Nope.
Sarah?
I would know, I don't know if this is good or maybe I could have had it in my manager's report. Last meeting, we had flyways on the agenda.
Yeah.
I talked with him again. So I was telling him, maybe if you guys volunteer, we can work something out. He said there's 2 of them. They can't commit to volunteering. He said, so after much thought, they're just gonna pay the rental fee. So that won't be coming back. It's just gonna be normal rental.
Okay. We're adjourned.
Thank you.